video for 11 months, and I feel like it's one of the most culturally relevant videos we're ever going to watch.
We will be looking at the most obnoxious, unlikable, pretentious phenotype out there, the mid-witted pseudo-intellectual.
Yep.
I mean, they're literally what you would get if you took the actually meme and turned it into a literal person. And to clarify, for those who don't know, a midwit is someone who's of average intelligence, and they think of themselves and present themselves as someone of higher intelligence.
And that's the problem. And the worst thing is when these people, their entire personality is just parroting and piggybacking off the opinions of others. It's very simple. If you want to have an opinion, at least make it be informed. If you stand for something, understand why you stand for something. If someone asks you, why do you believe the things that you believe, and you can't properly explain why you believe your own beliefs, you should probably either pivot them or do more research. Research is now easier than it's ever been. And I promise you a Google search, or shit, even AI from Grok, can really help things make a lot more sense, as well as becoming statistically aware of what happens in the world these days. And once again, I'm not claiming I'm a genius or anything, but at least everything I stand for and everything I believe in, I at least know why that is.
Which is seen in this meme of the midwit. Then after that, we have this pseudo-intellectual. This person is deceptive, they pretend to be knowledgeable or intelligent, while they are somebody who lacks genuine depth and understanding of a subject. Now, these are two distinctly different things, but they have a lot of overlap. And a lot of the traits we just covered, they're generally seen in the same people.
Yep.
And as somebody who has a lot of experience with these people in general,
I want you to watch this video and think Hassan Piker. I just really want you to think about this.
I believe I have a very good understanding of them. I know how they operate, why they behave the way that they do, and how to spot them. But here's the thing, plenty of videos already have gone over this. They've covered this exact same topic, and I would say that they're very valuable. And for the sake of not regurgitating that same information, think of this video as an addendum to their work, and not the end-all be-all. Firstly, we have to understand them, know exactly what drives them, and at their core, they are very antisocial people who are extremely insecure. That is where a lot of their obnoxious behavior stems from. Now, let me give you an example here. Let's say
anybody calling Asmongold a midwit, we're gonna have a problem, okay? Just because Asmongold's antisocial doesn't mean this video is about him. I assure you, Asmongold is a well-researched individual. Okay, and very well spoken. So no, anybody saying Asmongold right now, you're banned. No, you're not actually banned. But just give this video a second.
That you were talking to one of these midwits, and you said, the weather outside looks beautiful. Off of that statement alone, they're gonna rush into it and say, yes, it is. And that happens because of the high pressure systems over our heads. You see, the clear skies happen when the air sinks instead of rising, the way that the sunlight scatters through the atmosphere and makes it look brighter. We haven't even talked about what you even mean by beauty, how we can prove what beauty is at the end of the day. Oh my word, just shut up. Nobody cares. Nobody gives a shit about whatever you're saying right there. We have all had this happen to us. We've had this person who goes on an extremely long tangent that nobody cares about, just for the sole purpose of demonstrating how much they've read on Wikipedia.
It's also so embarrassing when you're like, so insert race here, always be acting crazy. Well, actually, that's very racist to say, and actually it's because of socioeconomic factors and systemic Shut up! Shut up! Okay? It's not that deep. Some motherfuckers just be acting crazy.
And the reason why they do this is because when you interact with them, is what is always at the center of their mind is,
how do I look really smart?
how can I take this opportunity to show the people around me how smart and knowledgeable I am?
There it is. See, that's why you guys can trust me. And the reason why you guys can trust me is because when I was asked when World War II was, I said, I don't fucking know, the 1800s, because I don't give a fuck about looking smart. I don't care. If there's something I don't give a fuck about, I'm not gonna, but you can tell people who really like to position themselves as, actually, I'm the really big smart guy, in fact. Shut the fuck up. It's like Nux Taku trying to say some bullshit like, well, actually, the Hunter x Hunter arc is about existentialism. Shut up, bitch. It was boring. And we all know it was boring. It dragged. Well, actually, in To Kill a Mockingbird, the red shoes actually represented adultery. Shut up, fat. Bleed that out. Anyways, I don't care. Okay? We don't need to explain all this shit. Anyways.
Which at the end of the day is rotten to the core because it is only self-serving. And people can sense this. We all sense this coming a mile away, and we hate it. Which ties into the key aspect of pseudo-intellectuals, why they're feigning knowledge, wisdom, or intelligence. They don't learn the things that they do because it's useful to implement it into their own lives. No, they don't care about that. What they care about is using it to impress the people around them, which is just fake and shallow at the end of the day. Everybody hates it. And the way we know that it's true is because if you pay attention to a person's actions, it will tell you what they actually care about, what they value, what their goal is with their interaction with you. If you and me, we were talking to each other and I stopped to listen to you, I start to ask questions about you, I hear you out. This is my way of conveying without words that I care about you. I care about the things you're saying to me. You deserve my attention.
By the way, excellently presented video, excellent editing. I believe this is Remnant 77. It is Remnant 777. Incredible videos, man.
That's what you're showing with your actions. Well, on the other hand, if I just ignored you, I talked over you, I just went on long, irrelevant tangents about the things I know, that is my way of saying to you, you are unimportant to me. What I truly care about is not you, but it's how I appear to you. You see what I'm getting at? This is one simple example to explain the lens in which we need to view these things. If you use this lens to view all social interactions between people, you will have a better understanding of people in general. And it's through this lens that we can examine some of the stereotypical behavior of these midwits. One common example is the nitpicking behavior. It could be you make a small typo, you mispronounce something, and they'll hone in on that and use it against you. While in reality, it's not an issue. Everybody knew what you meant.
A lot of this can also be seen in overly well-dressed individuals in all shapes of life. They don't dress nice because they want to do it for themselves. They do it because they need to have validation from other people. It's the same thing with women who must wear 8 pounds of makeup everywhere they go because the idea of being seen anything as less as drives them fucking insane. So they put on the mud, they put on the suit because they cannot be seen, they cannot stand to be seen as anything other than better than whoever is in front of them. Hassan, exactly. Hey, shit talk Asmongold as much as you want. You know that guy does not give a fuck what people think about him by the way that he dresses. He lives in garbage every single day. We all know it.
We could let it slide and it wouldn't change anything. But the midwit, the pseudo-intellectual, they will not. These people will never miss an opportunity to pop in and show, actually, this is the correct way you say it. This is what you actually mean. And at the end of the day, this action, it doesn't aid in the conversation. It doesn't aid in clarifying anything to anybody. And it is nothing more to these people than an opportunity to showcase how much they know at your expense. Again, you gotta remember what is at the forefront of their mind. Look at me, look at how much I know. Shut up and pay attention to me. Look and see how smart I am. And what is so ironic at the end of the day is they characteristically don't even understand what they're talking about. It's all surface level. I tell you, one time I was talking to a guy and he asked me what I do. And I told him I do freelance video editing because that is what I was focusing on at the time. And instantly he jumped in and said, "Oh, you should go to Fiverr. I heard there are people who make a lot of money on there. You should try it out. You should do the smart thing and let the business come to you rather than seek it out yourself."
Genius.
And I politely told him, that's not how it works. You can't just simply make a Fiverr account and expect it to work from there.
It's the same type of people will use anecdotal examples on why to explain to you that what you're saying is wrong. Like if you were to say Asians are short on average, and someone were to say, well, I have a buddy called Pete who's Asian, and he's really tall. Just realize you're talking to a fucking moron.
I've looked into this as a freelancer. It's a lot harder than you make it out to be. It's not that simple. But he didn't listen. He said, no. Trust me, I've seen it. You can just make an account on there and you'll blow up. Trust me.
Genius.
I mean, just try it out. Can't hurt, right? And we went back and forth and we were talking about this until I finally asked him and said, wait, have you ever done any video editing yourself or any commissions? And he said, no, I haven't. And then I asked him again, have you done any work on Fiverr? And then he said, nah, man, but I've heard people do really well on it. And then I I instantly realized right at that moment, I wasted my whole time talking to this fucking idiot who doesn't know anything he's talking about, who's telling me what I should do. And what's worse is if you stop to think about it, you realize these people don't care about you at all. Again, all of this is performative. The only thing he really
They just want to be seen as the instructor, the smarter individual. That's all they care, bro. Look at that belly.
cared about and wanted to hear was for me to say is yes, I will do this thing that you suggested so he can feel good about himself. That's all he wanted. That's all he cared about. This whole conversation at the end of the day was simply self-serving to him, to give him an ego boost. But let me tell you about another story, another interaction I had. I one time met this girl and asked her, what are you going into college for? And she said photography. And then she told me what her whole plan was, to get hired by a big company and to do their marketing for them. And for everybody who's into photography, I know you've heard this a billion times before. People tell you, you should become a freelance wedding photographer. You should start your own business. You'll make so much money. Just take pictures of people at their weddings. That's what you should do. But instead of saying any of that, I stopped and said, I'm curious, why are you interested in working for a corporation instead of doing freelance work like everybody says? And after that, she instantly lit up. She told me why. She went over the pros and cons of it. She talked about the negatives of doing freelance work rather than having a stable job at a company. Different things like that. She went into great detail about this thing. Because guess what? It's not my place to give her advice in her own field that I know nothing about. The only position I am in as someone who doesn't do photography while she's pursuing it, thinking about it for hours every day, is to ask her questions. I'm not in the position to give her advice, especially unrequested advice, because most people out there, they don't do these things because they believe it's the best.
And by the way, that's also a really good way to make women like you, is to just take genuine interest and ask for their input on things. Like, for example, one of the things that I did for Sophia, you know, I'm not gonna lie, we met pretty early on in the gym, is I would intentionally do the wrong form. That way she would have an opportunity to correct my form because I knew it made her feel better about herself. And I really am just that nice of a guy. You know, like, oh, fuck, oh, shit, I was doing it wrong. Oh, yeah, can you explain to me how I can do this? You know, I really am just that much of a gentleman. I really am. Because a lot of people don't have the opportunity to just talk what they're passionate about. So, you know, I like giving people the opportunity to do that. Or like, for example, like, you know, I went over to my buddy's chick. I went over to one of my random friends' houses. And he has 2 kids. And he was always saying how, like, he got sad that, you know, when guests came over, nobody would ever talk to his kids. And so I went to go talk to him. And, you know, they're like 13, 14 years old. And they were wearing a Hunter x Hunter shirt. And I immediately recognized that. And I said, oh, cool shirt. What is that? And they said, oh, it's from an anime. It's called Hunter x Hunter. Have you heard of it? I said, no, I've never heard of it. I would love to hear about what's it about. And I could have splurged all of my information about like, oh, dude, I love this. But it was better just allowing them to have a time to talk about what they're passionate about, because that's when people are the happiest. That's actually a thing that streamers are really good at. I know, I really am just that good of a guy. Anyways.
They want to help you. They do it to paint themselves as an intellectual. One of the reasons why I believe these midwits and these pseudo-intellectuals do this, these Redditors, they like to convince themselves that they're smart, they're educated, and it's all a cope to them because they have low self-esteem. It's like, hey, maybe I look like shit. Maybe I smell like shit. I'm unlikable, I'm ugly, but I can at least go on long monologues that nobody pays attention to. People compliment me and tell me how smart I am, right? That's why so many people in general value their intelligence. They take pride in their intelligence. They base their self-esteem upon it, which is unhealthy. I don't think you should do that. Because if you are actually intelligent, that is not an earned virtue. You did nothing to earn it. You were simply born with it. People who fixate on their own intelligence, they usually have nothing going on in their lives that they can rest their self-esteem on. That alone is their one pillar they rely on. And if you threaten that, if you shake it by being smarter than them or undermining their intelligence, they will hate you. Because that's the one thing they have in life. Never undermine it or shake it. Never point out how they are wrong. Because
bro, you will meet thousands of these in every MMO you've ever played. My issue is I have too many accolades. Beat Orphan of Kaz on my first try. Darkstar Madeira on my first try. Sister Freed on my first try. Won the OTK Smite tournament. Won the OTK Valorant tournament. Beat Disguised Tales in Among Us and Among Us tournament. Ranked top 5 in Among Us. Ranked top 20 in the world in Rip Out. And my issue is I'm just too fucking smart. That's my issue. You know what I mean? I'm just too fucking smart.
They will hate you. And what we can learn from this is, one, we should not rest our self-esteem on intelligence. Secondly, we need multiple pillars of self-esteem. If you base it off of intelligence, there are going to be people out there, by virtue of existing, that will make you feel inferior and hateful. Whereas, let's say you're a retard. You can be a happy, lovable retard. You can say to yourself, well, I might be retarded, but I'm at least moderately attractive, or I take care of my looks. I'm likable. People enjoy me. I make the people around me laugh. I'm charismatic.
Yep.
I have other positive qualities.
Yeah, that's you, chat.
About myself. And this retard, when he meets somebody who's smarter than him, he's not going to be insecure whatsoever. He's not going to be combative with them. He's not going to be insecure around them. He's going to love them. And
this is where you spam happy face emoji, chat.
that is what you need to do. Be like the retard instead of the midwit or the pseudo-intellectual who do everything in their power to feel good about themselves, feel very intelligent, and get that ego boost. Don't do that. And one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drop a truth nuke.
Here we go.
I usually don't call it a truth nuke, but I'm very confident with this, and everybody needs to hear this. One, people do not care at all how you appear to them. Nobody cares about how you talk about yourself or how you frame yourself to be in front of them, or you say things that are solely designed to impress other people.
Unless you're a streamer.
Nobody's paying attention when you go on these long monologues. People block it out. They start to daydream. Nobody cares about you.
Very true for in real life friends. Streamers, very different.
That's the truth. Nobody cares. But what they do care about are two things: how you make them feel, and also what value you supply to them. People care about and love people who make themselves feel good. What is actually valuable is the skill of making other people feel smart, loved, valued, happy. People will love you for that. That is what is extremely important. And also, being a valuable asset in general. If you supply value to people, you give to them in whatever way you can, people will love you and value for them. And oddly enough, if you're supplying value to people, they oftentimes view you as intelligent. If you want to be seen as intelligent, just be competent. Just be a person who focuses on and
it's like, for example, I know almost all of my mods are dumb, but they make me happy, so I consider all of them good, smart individuals, right? Because all of my mods are emotionally manipulating me, even though I know they're all retarded. I still love them, and I consider them well, good people and very intellectual, actually. Truth Bahamut.
pays attention to other people, what they need, how they feel, and supply also value to them with your actions. That is what you should focus on. Then maybe people...
What the fuck? No, I'm not dumb. Oh, really? Oh, really, Nate? Then say something smart. Say something smart right now. If you're not dumb, say something smart. I'm going to give you 30 seconds. Do you see that? All you say is something smart. Okay, no, you low-key got me, actually. You know what? Okay, yeah, you got me. Anyways, like, comment, subscribe. Great video. Guys, trust me, we're all the smart people, right? Guys, we're all very intelligent. We're all very intelligent.